good morning. How is everybody this morning? Happy Tuesday. I thought I would get one more day out of my Memorial Day hat. So I hope everybody is doing great this morning. I want to read to you to kind of set the stage for the show today, because it's don't panic, pivot. And that's what I've been spending a lot of time on doing. And I'm going to give you 8 steps today to pivot and what we need to be doing during these times. So I want to show you a quote that is something I've been reading that I think it's so important that everybody out there is watching it. And if you're watching this right now, hit that share button, because there's somebody out there that needs to hear this. So here's the quote. Who is considered an essential worker? Are we all not essential workers to our families? When are we going to hire ourselves? Tony Robbins. He is so brilliant. But, we've been hearing all this stuff about essential workers and all that good stuff. And it's like, when I read that yesterday, I was like, are we not all essential workers? Just because we're not at the office doesn't mean that we're not essential, because we are essential to ourselves and we're essential to our families. And I just think that so many people got bucketed into that. So let me say some good mornings. Good morning, Alina and Cynthia and Anthony. You are so good. First one on there, my friend. Carvey and Cindy and Laura. Good morning. Good morning. So are we not all essential workers? Oh, I think Tony Robbins is so rich in what he says. So let's just get into it. Okay. So I've come up with the 8 things that you need to do to not pivot to panic. Now, I told y'all I was going to tell you what I was up to last week. So I am going to give you more of a snippet to it. So, looking at our business, right? So I founded that mortgage company in January of 2000. And back then, I think about that was 20 years ago. I think about how much more hyper local my life was then. Right. I mean, I hadn't been speaking all around the world and had clients everywhere. I was just a girl from Round Rock, Texas, who wanted to work for herself because I was an essential worker. And I was tired of working for the man or the machine, which was a big national mortgage company I was working for. So I was the production manager for a company called North American Mortgage. And I got promoted to that. It's just like the car business. If you're top in sales, then all of a sudden, then they give you a territory and then you can hire your own loan officers, but you're a producing manager, right? So I was a producing manager. So as I was going out there, and this was probably in 1998, something like that. I mean, I was crushing it. And I was like, but I'm only getting like 25% of the money. Can you guys all feel that one? Good morning, everybody who's jumping on. And I was like, no, there's got to be a better way. So I went out and I found a bank to back me back then. And because I couldn't even qualify for a copier. I couldn't even get my own copier, which was so funny. A $15,000 piece of equipment back then. And so anyways, I got a bank to give me a warehouse line and to back me and to be my partner. So then I went from getting only 25% to 75% of the money, because I had to give the bank the other 25%. Anyways, so the evolution goes, and we have not had a backer in 20 years. But that being said, I got a taste of what it was to work for myself. I got a taste of being the boss. Right? I got a taste of being able to hire people and help change their lives and their worlds by giving them, by paying them more money than my competition. So anyways, fast forward, 6 months ago, interest rates dropped to the floor. My husband's like, look, we either have to hire somebody at your level or you have to come back. Because, and I just didn't want to give up the kind of money it was going to take to hire a president of the company, because, he runs all the production and all of the originations and things like that. And so I was like, yeah, I'll come back. And then, who would think it, just as life goes, rates would fall to the floor. Great. Awesome. Business is great. Pandemic. So what happens during the pandemic when you're in the real estate or the mortgage industry is that you've got an incredible demand for your product, okay? When interest rates are below 3%, you've got an incredible demand for your product. So keeping up with demand was tough. Then the pandemic hits. Then all of a sudden, people start pulling houses off the market because they're afraid. I will tell you, Austin has not been hit near as hard as some of my friends around the country. And we still have a ferocious demand for refinances because people are like, I can skip 2 payments. I'm going to lower my payment. Oh, but wait a minute. The world has changed potentially. Maybe they've been furloughed. Maybe their hours have been cut, right? So we had that whole thing to deal with. All right. So then just wait for it here. The lenders start coming in and going, whoa, 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 whoa. We have a world pandemic working here. So now we're going to raise the underwriting guidelines. We're going to raise the credit scores from a 580 to get an FHA loan to a 640. Well, those are my friends in the real estate, car business, anybody who's in the financial industry. That's a huge jump. All right. And so it was like, okay, let's just take away that bucket now. And that was still okay because we had so much business going on because of all the refinances. But it really got my wheels turning. Okay. And I started thinking about, how do I recession proof, because recession is coming, our business? How do I take a business that's licensed in Texas and take it global? How do I take it nationwide? Okay. These are the things that we're going to talk about when I give you all the 8 steps, because I'm giving you some things that I started thinking about as I started down the journey of what I'm going to be presenting to you guys and gals. So I was like, who do I know? So I picked up the phone and I called somebody that I know. And I actually met him through a media company in New York that I was doing some work with, right? So this is how the power of association. Okay. We talk, Sharon Lecter talks about this a bunch, right? It's a fundamental principle of Napoleon Hill, is the power of association. See, y'all, we all know each other. There's an association here. Many of you I've never met in person. Many of you I have, but many of you I haven't. But I talk to you like you live next door to me. We have conversations or whatever. Okay. It's the power of association. I pick up the phone. I call a guy by the name of Haas Pratt. He wrote a best-selling book. I mean, I'm talking like a real bestseller, worldwide international bestseller in real estate, called The Listing Boss. And I just, and what kind of prompted me to do that is that I was getting a bunch of his emails, and I'm like, hey, Pratt, what's going on nowadays? And he's like, oh my God, we're crushing it. I just did this huge deal with Tark from HGTV. And you guys know the show, the Flip It show. He was married to Christina, and then he and Christina got a divorce. Christina's got her own show now. He's got his own show, but he's been on HGTV for 10 years. He goes, I just did a huge deal with him. And it's a global deal. And I'm like, interesting. So, so Haas and I've only met, we've only talked a few times, but we talked because the media company in New York wanted him to talk to me so he would sign with them. So anyways, he said, so what are you doing now? And I said, I'm trying to figure out how to take my company bigger, fast, big, because, I don't want to be pigeonholed to one market. Okay. I don't want to be pigeonholed to Texas, although Texas is a pretty good place to be nowadays. I won't lie. We're fairly insulated and we have a governor who has a brain. But that being said, I want to figure out how to expand our business. I said, getting licenses in 50 states is super cumbersome, whatever. And I said, I see that you're crushing it. You've got people all over the world, all over the country. I want to come talk to you. He's like, come on down. So I went to Dallas and we had a meeting. So anyways, the meeting was originally from my standpoint, just to know more about what he was doing. It ended up that me, him, and Tark are partners. And so that's pretty exciting. And I don't want to get into much more of it from that, because I don't know that any of that matters to y'all at this point. But I wanted just to give you a snippet of what it takes to expand your thinking, expand your borders. All right. So the contracts were signed last week. I told y'all that. And we're off to the races. Like, today's the first day we're like all digging in. We kind of took a breather over the Memorial Day weekend. But, it went from hyper local, my business, to now literally United States, Canada, Mexico, global, with 2 partners that are celebrities, right? So what am I doing with their celebrity? I am leveraging the power of association. What do they do? Why do they want me? Because I have a lot of knowledge. I know a lot about social selling, which they don't really do, because they've really had the power of association, or the power of celebrity, and of course all the financial markets, which I've been an expert in. So all of that being said, I was a good third wheel or third cog to, I want to call it right now, the firm. Let's just call it the firm. So I was a third cog to the firm, but it was the power of association. They were looking for that third person. I didn't know that when I drove 3 hours door to door to Dallas. I didn't know what they were looking for. Okay. I just went on a fact-finding mission. I knew I was interested after the conversation. I knew they were interested. What did the deal look like? Okay. I knew that there was a deal to be had, or I wouldn't have gotten in my car. I mean, that's full transparency. I knew there was a deal to be had. All right. By the time our 2-hour meeting turned into a 6-hour meeting, and then by the time I left, we had a car deal. Okay. So that being said, versus panicking as I'm seeing houses go off the market. I'm seeing underwriting guidelines take huge changes. I'm seeing a crazy consumer demand that we can't take care of because of the underwriting guidelines. Oh, and then did I mention that jumbo loans, like all of our jumbo lenders pulled out because jumbo loans that are over the, conforming limit, well, they're all private investors, they're insurance companies. They pull out, right? So it was like, okay, so I could just sit there and the phone's ringing. Hey, anyone want a loan? I want a loan. And what do you want to do? Tell people you can't do business with them? No. And I want you to think about, so was I going to panic? No. I mean, the younger me might have panicked, but I'm like, no, there is a way to pivot this. And, I watch a lot of Tony Robbins. I follow Grant Cardone. I've known Grant. I like to tell Grant, I've known him since he was broke. And so, seeing the pivot into real estate, seeing what they're doing and being able to pick what markets you do business in. Now, that being said, hey, Lauren, thank you very much. That being said, I've now laid the groundwork for why I've been working on what I've been working on. So my piece to the partnership, right, is, my superpower is it's social selling. It is how to become a millionaire selling, sellionaires, right? But socially through the power of brand and influence. Right. And so anyways, but if any of you guys know anybody in real estate, I don't care where they are, have them call me, real estate or mortgages. So, because we have a big opportunity. I mean, I'm talking, we have virtual reality offices. It's insane. It is so insane what these boys have put together. So anyways, so that is the groundwork for the story. That is the groundwork for why I've kind of been in this, right? And so what are the 8 things? Because it doesn't matter what business you're in. So like my good friend Lauren Flanagan's on here. Lauren has got a fund that she funds female entrepreneurs in business. And she's got she's had some winners over the years. And I know she's had some losers, right? And so it's constantly testing the market. And the big thing, and the thing, just like I told y'all last week, right? Clear your house, clean out the clutter. Get focused. And that's what I want you to concentrate on doing today is getting focused. What are you going to do? I hate the term, the new normal, but let's be real. There is a new normal. And you know what, y'all? I don't hate it. I don't. I don't mind that I don't have to jump on an airplane every time I need to go see somebody, because now our clients or my clients are being conditioned to the fact that they don't want me there any more than I really want to go there at this point in the game, right? So this whole virtual thing is okay. At 12:45 today, if any of you guys and gals are members of the National Speakers Association, to be a member, just go, it's NSA. You have to have certain amount of paid gigs and all that. But anyways, if any of you are members of NSA, they now have a new virtual certification. And it's a 30-minute and it's live, and you have to sit in front of a group and they grade you. And then they decide if you're worthy for them to promote and call you a virtual presenter. And they don't charge you for it. So I don't think it's some weird little tax. But anyway, so I've been preparing for that. If you guys can see, like all of this, my pretty sparkly stuff will go away today for my audition as a NSA virtual presenter, right? But that's a pivot for me. Like, I'm not wild. I'll be honest with y'all. Like, I love Facebook Live because I can at least see how you feel. I can see what you're thinking. You can talk to me. But on a virtual presentation, I'm so nervous for today. It's at 12:45. So throw a little prayer up there for me. But I'm so, because, I love an audience. I love an audience, but I told you last week, all of my conferences for 2020 have been postponed to 2021. But will the new normal in the speaking business will it be virtual? Will we just be up on big screens, talking to thousands of people? I don't know. But I want the certification so that the big companies are not afraid to hire me because they know that I've been vetted by NSA. So that's just a whole nother thing. Like, I got to go get ready, get my hair, the whole bit. But anyways, it's a pivot. It's a pivot. Again, I could have panicked, but instead I'm pivoting, right? So that's one piece of my business, but the other piece is my real estate business. So the first thing, and I'm going to jump off of comments here because I'm going to go over my banners. The first thing that I want you to think about, okay, is no matter what business you're in, if you're in a commodity-based business, which would be cars, would be insurance, would be financial services, would be real estate, would be mortgages, whatever it may be, I think you need to consider offering more. How do you offer more in your business? And my example of that one is to partner with other businesses to combine offers. See, that's what I did. That's why I opened this, laying the story about what I did and why I decided to make the pivot. And it's kind of a big audacious call, to go after both of these celebrities, right? But why not? In my mind, I have what they don't. So what do you have? How can you partner your business with another business, combine forces, potentially combine advertising budgets, but most importantly, to combine influence? You see, I've got an audience that those boys don't have. It's much smaller than theirs, but they, the whole her way thing, like they love the whole her way thing, and for real estate and for all of that, right? And so I bring something to the table. What is it your business, product, or service brings to the table? And how do you partner up with other businesses? The power of association is strong. And then at that point, your business can offer more. It can offer more. You become more valuable. You all of a sudden potentially go from being hyper localized to statewide, to countrywide, to maybe even worldwide. Okay? You got to offer more. And you typically can't do that by yourself. You got to do it with someone else. Now, there are some businesses out there that need to offer less. Okay. So there's some, I think about SaaSes, some software companies out there, or I think about companies out there who have had, huge offerings in the past. It's like, okay, to do business with me, it's going to take $25,000, right? Whatever it may be. And I think about like the software company my daughter works for, they're excellent. They're amazing, right? And they are what we would call the platinum standard when it comes to research, right? And that's what she sells. She sells subscriptions to research. And again, I have no idea what they do, but this is just one that's coming off the top of my head. So potentially, let's say you're selling a subscription to something. Let's say you're selling coaching. Let's say you're selling whatever. Concierge service. Let's say you're selling cars, whatever it may be. If you're a car dealer now, I have a client here in Austin that I told him, I'm like, I think maybe you need to go out and try to find some cheaper cars. The used car market's about to get absolutely annihilated, flooded, all this other stuff. I think you need to have cars that are under $10,000, and they're in the market right now. Okay. Because people are selling stuff off. So how do you take your product or service? Now, again, this is two totally different pieces of thinking, y'all. Okay. You can either, like, let's just say that the number one is to offer more, and to offer more, a lot of times that is combining with other businesses, right? Coming together, offering a larger offering. Okay. But that may not be possible in your business. So maybe your business is kind of chugging along. Maybe you figure out how to offer less. How do you create, at least for now, a smaller package? A smaller package. If you're somebody who's used to doing business in person, potentially, you offer a virtual package. And oh, believe me, if you're virtual, people want to bring down the price, at least as speakers. They're like, oh, you don't have to get on an airplane and blah, blah, blah. So now we want to pay you 70% of what we would have paid you before, but whatever. It is what it is. Okay. But so offer less, create smaller packages, create smaller offerings. All right. Number 3, can you solve a new problem? Now, let me take you through this. The core reason your business exists is to solve a problem. So how do you look at your customers' new normal and solve for it? Okay? Because businesses that we serve, every single one of us, or clients that we serve, every single one of us, as of about 9 weeks ago, they have a new set of problems. So we as business owners, we as people that work for businesses, we've got to think about how are we going to solve the new set of problems. And the ones that are going to be the most successful are the ones that are going to be able to pivot, right? The things I'm consulting for today, I wasn't talking to people about 9 weeks ago. I wasn't. It wasn't an issue. I mean, I really thought like 9 weeks ago, I was retiring in a year. In the mortgage business, we are so busy, busier than we've ever been in 20 years. Like, yes, let's do this, right? And then all of a sudden, world pandemic, the banks start pulling up, people start pulling their houses off the market. It's like, oh, okay, wow, new normal, new normal. Do we panic or do we pivot? Okay, so what is a new problem that you can solve? Because people have new problems and you got to get your mind around it. And the first one, guy or gal, out with it. Like, hey, I'm in the insurance business, or I'm in the financial services business, and this is a product we have now to get you through. This is this. There's so many of you that do so many different things. But number 3 is to not panic and to pivot. A pivot is to solve a new problem. And the good news is that those new problems are only about 9 weeks old. So the first guy or gal that gets to the market with a solution to the new problem for your client is the one that is going to clean up in this whole thing. All right, number 4, redefine your market. And again, y'all, this was all based on my pivot of what we did so that we didn't get caught up in this whole pandemic. There's so many new opportunities. Remember, I told you I was hyper local. And that's, we were going to concentrate on that because there was just all we could say grace over sitting in this market right here. But, that's so short-sighted as a business owner. And I wouldn't have even thought that until there's a world pandemic, right? And so to be able to have the opportunity to work in other markets around the country and around the world. But it took the power of association, okay? It took the power of association and some of the associations they have to become their partner and to join forces. All right. So redefine your market. And I'm going to tell you, it's probably meaning expanding your market, right? And here's one that I read about that I thought was really interesting. Great example, Airbnb. So think about Airbnb. The whole travel industry just got waylaid, absolutely waylaid during this pandemic, right? Nobody's leaving, nobody's doing this, And so what did Airbnb do? Or what are they in the process doing? See, they're redefining their market, and it's brilliant. Now, I don't know if it's going to work or not, or I don't know if it has worked, but this is what I read that they're working on to pivot. So think about all these people that are working at home, right? And it's not ideal. I think about my son-in-law. So both of my kids, my son-in-law and my daughter, they're both working from home. Well, she's got an office because she's always worked at home. Well, he works for the county. He's in procurement for the county. And so he's worked downtown, but the estate or the county is not bringing people back yet. So he's working at the kitchen table. Okay. Not really ideal when both of your kids are out of school. It's just been tough, right? So I think about that and I think about people. So what did Airbnb do? They are taking their Airbnbs and they're renting them out to people so that they can go in and work for the day. Now, I don't know how they're cleaning them, but they've got a whole plan behind that and sanitizing them and whatever. But instead of just letting them sit empty because people are not traveling, they're opening them up to entrepreneurs and to businesses that their work at home environment is not ideal. So let's see if it works. But what a great pivot, okay? What a great pivot, right? So redefine your market. You're going to have a new market. I also read about oh my gosh, the people that deliver food, Favor, okay, and that tends to be, according to them, like 80% of their business is millennials. The pivot is that is flipping more into our age and into senior citizens because people are, now they're bringing the food in from the restaurants, right? And so they've really redefined their market as going from being a really millennial-based business. Because typically people like us will actually go out and get our food and the younger ones just want everything brought to them, right? You guys have heard me talk about it. It's an on-demand society, but they're pivoting to a whole new market of people now, right? So they've had to hire more drivers. They've had to do a lot of things. So how do you redefine your market? I promise you it's out there. All right, number 5, update your business model. All right, let me look at my notes on that one. So how do we update our business model? We go virtual. We go touchless. Pizza, right? I got a pizza the other night. The pizza driver, from Domino's, I wasn't even expecting it. He gets to the door, drops it. He was running to his car. I was like, it kind of startled me. I mean, I was kind of expecting to open the door and he'd have a mask on and he'd hand me my pizza. No, they drop it and they run from your front porch. That is called touchless delivery. Okay. Redefining. Taco Bell. So now if you go through the drive-through at Taco Bell, all of your food is on a tray, and then they hand the tray out to you through the drive-through, and then you pick up the stuff off of the tray. We all know that no one's touching a credit card anymore. Online summits. Sharon did, and I had the honor of speaking at it. Sharon did an online summit. We had 1,300 registrants, 1,300, and people paid big money to be in that thing, and people paid to sponsor it. Okay, it's a new way of updating your business model. And again, I think virtual is so big. In the real estate business, now we're doing virtual notaries and taking docs out to people's house with notaries. Before, we only did that if somebody was incapacitated. You had to go to the title company, you had to wet sign at least the title and things like that. And now the governor has had to pass new laws so that everything can be done virtually through DocuSign. And that just wasn't our business. Not saying it wasn't very archaic, but it was, right? How do you update your business model? There's always a pivot there. All right, number 6, never ask, what if? What if 9 weeks ago this wouldn't have happened? Okay. All that does is it compounds fear and it escalates the problem. I want you to get the what ifs out of your mind. All right. Because with every seed of adversity, there is an opportunity. All right. Napoleon Hill. With every seed of adversity, there is an opportunity. But if you're so busy with the what if, well, what if this wouldn't have happened? What if, you're going to get yourself into a spiral downhill. Okay. This pandemic and coming through this thing and pivoting and not panicking is not for sissies. Let's be real. It's not for sissies. All right. All right. Number 7, you got to invest in yourself. Now, I know y'all saw my, please join my YouTube station. And that's because with this new partnership, I have to get it just a little bit higher in all the rankings. And so anyways, I've got this really fancy software now. So every YouTube video I watch, it ranks it. It's taught my team how to rank out all my videos, all the keywords. I've got like 100 and something videos on my YouTube. I think that we've done like 14 of them so far, but all of a sudden the views are just like going crazy. Okay. So that was investing time in myself. And now I'm kind of excited about it because I love watching like videos are doubling and tripling that I've had up for a year. Okay. Because the person I had doing it before didn't know squat. I thought they did because they talk a good game, but as I look at their videos, well, theirs are ranked terrible also. So even though I believe that you should, if something doesn't pay you, then you should send it out and have somebody else do it. I still think you've got a responsibility to learn some things on your own. Okay. To learn to know how to do it, because sometimes you're going to have to be your own backup plan. And I think a lot of us learned that during this pandemic. You've got to be your own backup plan. I've learned how to use Canva. I've learned how to make videos. I've learned how to optimize YouTube, like really optimize it. I've learned, I've learned a lot of stuff. Okay. Because all of a sudden people that I relied on weren't there anymore. So will I send a lot of that stuff out? Yeah, I will. But at least I know how to do it. There is power in that. Okay. And then we're going to talk some, and then number 8 is research for yourself. Don't buy into the press and the mainstream media. All right. There's so much fear mongering out there. Talk about panic. If I were to sit and believe everything I read in the media, I would be in a corner sucking my thumb right now. The world's coming to an end. Here come the locusts, blah, 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 blah. It doesn't even matter. Okay. I want you all to commit to do the research yourself and to come with your own conclusions, to come up with your own conclusions to everything. All right. That is part of the pivot, not panic. All right. Because again, there's a reason that the 24-hour news cycle. And it's because they want to keep you glued to the television. And what keeps you glued to the television? Sensational headlines. All right. Do the research yourself. All right. Let's see what everybody else has got going on out here. Hey, Christopher Campbell, late to the party. You are never too late. And Shay loves the hair. There's a reason I had to recycle my Memorial Day hat one more time because of the hair, but that's okay. Oh, you got this. NSA. Oh, thanks, Angela. Let's see what else is going on. Oh, this is so good. So put out there some of the things that you're struggling with the last 9 weeks. What have you been struggling with? All right. Because I will tell you, there is more information out there now. But the thing I want to leave you with today, the thing I want to encourage you to do is I want you to tap that Rolodex. I want you to think about, who do you know? Now, don't just start randomly dialing for dollars, because people are trying to pivot right now. And there's a lot of work in a pivot. I am here to tell you. I mean, like, I think my frozen shoulder's coming back. I've been at my computer so much, getting all the stuff pulled together for the big, ta-da. And it's a lot of work. Okay. So, but think about, who are the people in your universe? Who are the people you know? Who are the people that you have stumbled across over the last few years that you think, I wonder exactly what they do. And is it something I could get involved with? Is it something that could marry to my business? Is it something that would be mutually beneficial to their business and to my business? Or just the fact that power of that association could really help both of us? It's so big. And that's why it is one of the key and core tenets of Napoleon Hill, is the power of association. How do you think and grow rich? You're not going to do it by yourself. You're not. It's, as I called Haas, and I was thinking, I've spent all these years knowing all these people and going around the world, literally, and speaking. I'm like, I know so many people. Who are the people now I should reach out to that do what I do? And they don't really do what I do, but they're in the industry, right? They're in the real estate industry. And I want to brainstorm with them. What are they doing to pivot? All right. Because there are many deals to be found if you go get them. Don't just wait for opportunity to knock. It probably won't knock. You've got to be proactive. I really want to encourage you to make a hit list. I want you to make a hit list. I want you to list out 10 people. Okay. This is your homework before next week. 10 people that you have met along the way. All right. That potentially you could partner with, or 10 people that you'd like to virtually have a meeting with, right? That you could discuss business with, that would be mutually, okay? Because again, it's going to be really hard to get anybody right now to sit and spend an hour with you when they're in survival mode. So have a plan when you reach out to these people. Have a plan. Look, Mary, I'm in this, you and I met 2 years ago. I've looked at your business. I've followed you on social media. I think you're amazing. I'd like to tell you about my business and the way that I think that we could be mutually beneficial. It's more important now than ever to build that tribe, to build that group of people that you're sending them business and they're sending you business, or potentially you're cross-marketing, you're cross-pollinating your businesses. I never thought about doing it before. I didn't need to. I didn't need to. We had enough coming in that, we didn't need to. So how do you leverage the power of association? Let's see what people are saying there. Building a house in Liberty Hill, Austin, Round Rock, selling our current home struggle, wife building new business in this pivot. Focus on my role while adding value. Okay, Carby, you and I probably need to talk. Yeah, no, it's tough. It is tough. Well, Shiva is on there, and I bet he's on there from Periscope. My grandmother tells me the story of rabbits. Tax write-off for those who do it with the B&B. Yeah, exactly, Anthony. Exactly. So, there's all kinds of pivots. The other thing I would talk to is those of you that got PPP loans, go out and it looks like that they've changed the guidelines on those. So go out and make yourself more educated. Like, through all of this, I've had to really dig in and learn my craft. Because let's face it, y'all, if any of you have been in real estate, cars, it's been really good the last, I'd say since 2012, right? As the market turned back around, and, it's been really good. And I find it really interesting because a lot of people got successful just because. And I think the ones that will really come out of this thing, and they will be, and Cardone says this, that they will be more successful than ever because they're going to know how to pivot. They're going to know the power of association, and they're going to know how to make turn this into an opportunity. And then there's going to be some people that just go home and suck their thumbs because they're like, well, wait a minute. Like I think of a lot of real estate agents. Yeah, they're in multiple offers at all times, right? They didn't have to know the art of putting a deal together, of negotiating, of doing that. All they would tell their clients were, oh, just bid another 5,000. Go 10, 15,000 over asking price. Okay, the world's changed. The world's changed. You're going to have to know your craft. You're going to have to understand the market. You're going to have to understand and be able to coach people. What are you going to sell that house for? What's going to happen? What are the trends? What's going to, whatever. What does the financing look like? Because, you can buy 10 houses, but if you can't pay for them, right? So all of that. Oh, Greg, thank you for a great message. I agree 100% with what you said. Thank you, Anthony. Well, now, here's a great example. Anthony's business, it's great. They're crushing it over at AutoMax because, people need people. Okay. So there are some businesses that I think are a little bit recession proof because, they're in the people brokering business. That's a great business, but, they could at some point expand out to other industries. I don't think they need to. And if you don't need to do it, don't do it, right? You don't want to have distractions if you're doing great. But if you're not doing great and you need to pivot, then what? Okay. That's when you start going through the 8 steps. All right. So I want to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart. I think I'm at 206 YouTube subscribers and the content is really good. So I'm just going to put the link in here if you'd be so kind, if you have not already done that for me. I just stuck it up there. But you know what? I don't know if y'all, yeah, there you go. If you have not subscribed yet, I'm telling you, I've got some rock stars that I've interviewed over the last 2.5 years, people that nobody ever even saw their videos because nobody knew how to optimize them. And so anyways, we're redoing the intros and the outros. And one thing I did learn for those of you trying to be YouTube stars is that it's the thumbnail picture and the description are the 2 main things that people look for to click on. So you can see like the first 14 videos we edited, we made like really fun, cool thumbnails and we reach, anyways, it's just a whole new world. I just find it interesting right now. But if you would subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. And I promise to bring great and valuable content. And but we're really, really digging into this social sellionaire because today we live in a world. We live in a world of influence. And I'm not talking Kim Kardashian influencers, okay? Which, hey, I give it to her. I give it to all the Kardashians. That's not the way I would make money, probably because I don't look like them, but they're billionaires. So I'm not taking it away, but that shows you the power of influence. That shows you the power of social. The way that we used to close deals, whether it's real estate or if it's cars or insurance, those days are gone. With all things fundamentally, with all things equal, people do business with people they know, like, and trust. What are you going to do to build your authority brand within your industry? All right. We're going to talk about that next week. And I'll have some action steps for that too, because that's all part of becoming a social sellionaire. And anyways, so YouTube, I would be forever grateful. Anybody in the real estate or mortgage industry, I don't care where they are in the country, send them my way. Big opportunity for them. What's Anthony say here? The stores that see the value of letting us staff their store as they focus on selling cars are seeing. Oh, I agree, Anthony. I agree. Car dealers are the worst about hiring people. Right now they need to keep their eye on the ball. They need to figure out how they're going to sell cars. So I love AutoMax, Anthony. They are thebomb.com when it comes to staffing people. Some of my biggest clients here in Austin, AutoMax handles all my clients. The minute that they say to me that they need somebody, I'm like, call Anthony, call AutoMax. They're the best. So anyways, I will see y'all next week. I'm trying to keep the videos and the shows shorter, according to YouTube. That's better. And according to everybody's attention span. I want to thank you so much. I want continued success out there. Okay. Think about the 8 steps. Don't panic. All right. Don't panic. Turn off the news. Do your own research. Be an independent thinker. Power of association. Who do you know? Who have you met along the trail? Okay. Along the trail of life that your association is mutually beneficial and you can help their business and they can help your business. Potentially there are partnerships out there that need to be formed, businesses that need to be consolidated, all kinds of things. The opportunity is huge. It's absolutely huge. It's for you to go get. All right. Thank you. And have a fantastic week. And I will see y'all next Tuesday morning. And if you liked the show, if you see the benefit in it, I would greatly appreciate it if you'd share it out. All right, y'all. Take care. Bye-bye.